Alrighty. Hello, folks. This is John Paist with Safetica, and over the next 7 minutes, I'm going to walk you through some things that we consistently see in the data behind our platform, the blind spots that traditional policy-based DLP was never built to catch. I'm sure every one of you already has a DLP tool in place in one which way or another, and the question I want to leave you with today isn't whether your DLP tool works or not, it's what actions is it potentially missing. All right. Here are some 5 patterns our data keeps identifying, and they're ones that live outside what a traditional policy engine is designed to flag. First, it's going to be sensitive data shared with AI tools. This ranges from source code, customer PII, PHI, and many other things, and it's all pasted into ChatGPT and other similar tools well outside any standard document-based rules. Secondly, is going to be departing employees taking data, records, and IP, among other things, moving out the door during a notice period when that user still has fully valid access. Third is abnormal after-hour access. Late night activity that looks exactly like it would be real work, but it may not be. Fourth would be privileged user misuse, legitimate credentials being used to access finance, HR, personnel files, or other areas that they should not be accessing. Last but not least is gradual data exfiltration, small repeated transfers, each sized or timed to stay under the threshold that would normally trigger an alert. None of these are particularly exotic or special attacks. They're seemingly everyday access used in a way that would never trigger traditional policies. Let's start with the first blind spot, our favorite topic and everybody's favorite topic, AI. In our H2 2025 data, ChatGPT alone accounted for just over 20% of all blocked AI activity, ahead of Gemini, Copilot, and a bunch of other tools combined. And this scenario and this data, it's not hypothetical. We work with a regional healthcare provider that found staff sharing PHI into public AI tools. And with Safetica in place, they had full visibility of these actions immediately. And within days, they were able to apply controls without shutting off the tools that their employees need on a day-to-day basis. And that last part really matters. The goal is never to completely block these kind of tools. It's to see how they were being used and use that data to then go from there. The second blind spot is departing employees. A manufacturing organization we work with had an employee resign. They gave their standard 2-week notice and they began quietly exfiltrating data out of the company. This is nothing unique. It happens every day, and Safetica flagged that orb abnormal movement early enough that the team could act before the employee's final day rather than finding out after the fact. What was at stake? It's not abstract either. It could be loss of business, eroded customer trust, and the exposure of PII, payment data, and potentially many other things. A resignation letter doesn't just revoke the access, it does just start a clock, though, and then who knows what the user will be doing from there. All right, let's take a quick step back for a second, and I want to go around why this is urgent now, not someday in the future. This is all normal. It may sound abnormal, but it's not. IBM's cost of a data breach recently put malicious insiders at roughly 9% of reported breaches. If you flip that around, 91% of insider breaches are non-malicious. Just ordinary people doing their jobs, making decisions that create exposure without any malicious intent or harm to anyone or anything. And again, this is all pretty common. Gartner's research found that insider incidents affect 57% of organizations. And to keep that statistic relatable, that means more than half the room has had insider incidents. And last but not least, it's expensive. The same Gartner research put the average annual cost of an insider event at $17 million. That's not chump change. Normal, common, expensive. That is the case for treating insider risk as a first-class problem, not a side project bolted onto a DLP tool. So, where does Safetica fit into closing this gap? Policy-based DLP is a necessity, but on its own, it just stops at that policy. It can't do the four things that matter the most in the scenarios that we just walked through. It can't catch risk early. It reacts once a rule is triggered, not when the behavioral starts to drift. It can't push false alarms down. Without the behavioral context, every event looks the same, every alert looks the same, and that alert fatigue starts to set in. It can't give you the full context with an honest mistake. It is could be a compromised account, or maybe it's something malicious. Again, a policy engine cannot tell you which. And it can't get you a faster, more accurate response because responding depends on knowing which of these you're dealing with. And again, with a traditional rule-based, policy-based system, you don't know which is which. That is the layer that Safetica adds. Other tools stop at DLP. We add the behavioral layer they miss, combining insider risk management and DLP, so you get the full context on every case, not just a violation or alert count. Come on, there we go. And we do it all in one platform for one price with none of the complexity of stitching together multiple solutions or modules. UEBA, data discovery, app and web filtering, external device management, email security, and DLP and more, all in the same place, single pane of glass, nice and simple and easy. And quick one, just lastly, a quick word on who we are. Safetica protects over 1 million devices across 120 plus countries. We are an intelligent data security platform. I'm not going to read all this because we know it. 5 blind spots identified, which translate to real costs when they go unaddressed. Good thing is we have one platform built to